Welcome back to the ATL Baseball Podcast, everybody. We have an awesome show that we filmed yesterday with Champ Bailey. I wanted to hop on before we did the actual real intro. We were pressed a little bit for time, so it's not the normal intro and flow of everything and how it goes. So he hopped on a call in between meetings, and honestly, we just pressed record. There was really no prior lead up to any of that. So we were fortunate enough to get him. He said he only had about 20 minutes to talk. We ended up going for about 45. So hope you guys all enjoy that. Let's get it going then. I'll do a little quick intro and then we'll just hammer it out as quick as we can.
What kind of things you want to talk about? Just so I'm thinking on, or I don't know. It's up to you.
The big thing I wanted to hammer with you, obviously, we'll hit football stuff, was how to be a parent of an athlete today. I think like everything I hear from Josh about you and like Gio and all the other parents is like you are down to earth, humble. Like you're just a model parent. I mean, you're only one of the 5 players ever in Madden history to have a 99 ranking on a video game for speed and overall. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to be the model parent. So, I guess that was like one of the big things today. Obviously, it's Super Bowl week, so I was going to, if we had time to hit on some of that stuff. But, I mean, really, dude, like, you're more talented. You probably know more. You've been around the block than almost every coach your sons have had or are going to have.
Right.
How do you stay so chill or trust the process or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Got you. We can dive into all that. So I'm with
you. Yeah. I started recording already, so like I can just edit.
Oh, you did? Oh.
Well, I edited it. It's not live. It's not going on. I edited it all out, but like,
gotcha.
I can edit that. I can edit that part, and I don't have to re-ask that question. So I mean, if you want to just dive into that, go ahead. And whenever you got to go to your next meeting, like that's no big deal.
Yeah, I got you. I'll tell you what. As a parent, and the parent of a kid that can actually play, right? Like he's really good. He's dialed in, and I'm talking about my 14-year-old Braden.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to be involved is a blessing in itself because, if it was 15 years ago, I've been playing ball, right? And I wouldn't have time to really pay attention as much as I'd like to. But I think what I've learned along the way as I walk that same path he's trying to walk is you're going to have a variety of coaches and a variety of people trying to teach you things. And there's no doubt me and him are going to talk about the game. We're going to talk about football. Of course. But it's always going to be at the pace that he wants it. If he didn't pick me up off the couch and take me outside to play ball, we probably wouldn't play ball all the time. I want him to want it. Now, there's obviously some things I could teach him and kind of put in front of him to see how he reacts, but if it's something I think he needs, but at the same time, like, I want the game to be fun to him.
Right.
And I want you to understand there's so many different ways to teach you. And you make mention, yes, I know a lot about the game, but I don't know everything. And I'm humble enough to say that, understanding like his path and his experiences are going to be a little different from mine. But I will tell you, one thing I always tell him is there's going to be moments where you have to overcome bad coaching. You're going to get some bad coaches. Like, it's going to happen. So it's like the more you prepare yourself, the less you have to worry about it affecting your game in a negative way. And that's the reason I believe that he's so motivated, because he knows he's good and he knows he has to stay on top of it himself. Lucky for me, I think at this point he's not tired of my voice yet because he's still asking me things. And I know a lot of dads go through that. Like they kids just stop listening,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, I'm in it, and I hate that for him because dads want what's best for the kids, and at the end of the day, dad is going to look out for you. But you can't be the only one teaching. You just can't be. They're gonna there's gonna be a moment where I'm not there every day to watch practice and to see what he's doing and what he's being taught. Yeah, he can go to college and I'm gonna be there 1% of the time. So so it's the reality of being an athlete. It's just navigating this stuff, but you try to just focus on what you can control as an athlete. And I think Braden is starting to come around and understand that, and it's fun to watch because he's still excited about playing.
Yeah. And I mean, I think, like you mentioned, the kids that really tune out the dads are almost the ones that are not making it fun. Maybe they're putting too much pressure. Like you said, you want him to be good. You want him to be good because he wants to be good. And I think something that we see as coaches in the youth is parents pushing their kids too hard, and
Yeah,
like it's almost like the parent wants it more than the kid actually does. Um,
yeah. And now you see, I'm at he's in eighth grade going into ninth, and I see a lot of parents searching for opportunities, and I'm like you're gonna take the fun out of it if he goes to a place where he doesn't know anybody. You almost have to reinvent, your circle, and
right,
it's and that sucks for a kid because it's risky. And I'm like, you know, one thing I'm not gonna do is just start looking for something better. But if something's bad, then we'll open up our opportunities and see what else is out there. But right now, it's like just let him have fun, let him enjoy the game. He wants to talk about the nuances of the game. I'm here. I can tell you anything, but at the same time, I can't tell you everything. So just
right.
understand that part of it.
I think a big part of it is like you have such a good perspective on, like you mentioned, it's enjoying the game with like people that he knows, like his friends. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, he may go find another opportunity that's better, or um, but it's risky. Like he may also go just hate it,
yeah,
and he hates the coaching, and now he has no friends there, and it's like, no, I don't want to play football.
yeah. Because the unfortunate thing about team sports is you find those coaches that have their favorites, right? They'll give player X 10 chances and player Y 2 chances. So to mess up or to get it right. And you just never know, man. You just control what you can control, keep your head down, be a good leader. And that's just, working hard, the usual things. Those things that they taught us, work hard, be accountable, those things still exist. And that still determines your success. So you focus on those things and the rest will take care of itself.
I think the good coaches have favorites as well, and their favorites are the ones that control what they can control, show
Yeah,
up on time,
yeah,
do the right things, all that.
yeah,
I mean, that's we had Kyle Farmer on, and like he was saying the same, almost like the same thing you were about his son, where it's like, if he wants to get me up off the couch, we'll go throw. If he doesn't want to, we're not gonna go throw. And
yeah,
like John Lester was on the other day, and he said that just similar things about. It's so funny because I would assume that most people would look at like Champ Bailey and say he thinks he knows more than all the coaches, which he probably does. But instead of being like the most laid back parent of the group and like understanding the most, like they wouldn't see it like that because you're a former NFL player. You're I mean a Hall of Famer, and I think that would just surprise so many people to hear professional athletes talk like that. Say things
yeah,
that a lot of coaches say, but I'm Mike Shepard. I didn't run a 4.28, or I get that right. I feel like I did.
It probably was lower than that, but we won't go there.
I mean, you did. I mean, multi-sport. You didn't just play multi-sport. Up until college, you ran track and field in college too. I mean,
Right, right.
how,
Yeah.
how,
Go ahead,
no, no,
finish your
you go
question.
ahead.
Well, you know, I'm all about the multiple sports. And, I think one of the things my son goes to Holy Innocents now, and I'm starting to learn since he's playing baseball, he likely won't run track. And I'm like, okay, well, that's gonna be a problem for me because I know how much track helped me. And why would any school coach or anybody or team want one of the fastest kids you've ever seen not on the track helping your school? That's one thing. So I think for selfish reasons, they need to make it work. But also for his development, like he needs to learn to be a part of every possible team he could be a part of. There's so many different ways you can learn and understand how to be a good teammate. And track and field, although it's an individual performance, when you do relays, you got to learn how to work with your team. And you don't have a lot of time to practice that. When football, it's all about the other players. Always. It's always okay. If they don't get a pass rush, I'm a corner. That ball's quarterback is going to hold the ball. So I got to cover for 3 more seconds. So football is a lot different from track in the sense that, you're an individual, but at times you got to have a team aspect.
Right.
But again, you control what you can control. You be accountable when necessary or all the time. And it transcends all sports. They don't teach you how to run in baseball, really.
Not
Well,
like
at least,
track.
right? They don't teach you how to run in football, at least not effectively. So I'm like, this is the only place that you're gonna really learn how to run with technique. We need to get you in it. So that's something that we're gonna have to deal with. But I only want that because, for one, why sleep on this kid's speed,
Is he
and why
fat?
let
Is he fast?
oh, he's super fast. I mean, he's fast. I know he's the fastest kid in his grade. It's just now, you know, are they gonna recognize it and take advantage of it? Like they should,
What
Let
position
the
does he?
help
What position does he play?
touch the ball.
I don't know if they stuck him
Well,
at. I mean, like I don't know if they stuck him at
well,
quarterback because he's the best athlete.
no, obviously now this is where you overcome bad coaching. Now he's been in a triple option offense 3 years of his life now, and he's always been the biggest threat on his team. Now, fortunate enough for us, we had a good quarterback this past year who could actually run the ball. Now, the first time he was in an offense like this, he was playing like a back or wing back or whatever. I'm like, well, that's going to be a deficiency to your offense because you want the best player to be a threat to go both ways, not one way. so, so he understood that at the time because we're having these conversations, and I'm like, okay, we're not going to get the most out of our players. So you just control what you can control. And I allowed it to just fester on. And I'm like, well, coach asked me early on. I'm like, well, your best player has to be a threat all the time to go multiple ways. If you put him on the left, everybody knows he's doing right. So, and you don't throw the ball. So, I don't have a problem giving feedback. It's just, I allow the coaches to be who they are. I want them to be comfortable coaching their team and not see me as a threat.
Right.
And because they know I got more information that I've forgotten that they probably know. So we all know this, but I'm not gonna press on you about doing it the way I think you should.
Yeah, you're in
Because
the minority of like guys that would actually act like that though. That's like it blows my mind that you have that perspective. And I bet like that coach walks over to you and probably scared shitless. First of all, um, second of all, like he probably asked you 2 or 3 questions, and you talk for like 2 minutes, and he walks away thinking like my mind has been blown. Like, oh my god, that makes so much sense. Why didn't I think of that before?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah. I mean, there isn't something that happens on the football field where I can't like give feedback. Like there's so many different things.
Well, I mean, yeah, you
But yeah, but again, like I don't force that on a coach. This is I want my son to know that there's other voices out there,
right,
whether good or bad. We'll come back and review what you've been taught. For example, he's playing corner in the eighth grade. And, they went through that season, won their championship this past year. But the whole season, I'm like, you know, just watch the ball come out of the quarterback's hand, and you're likely going to catch it. Now, if I just say that to somebody else, they wouldn't know what the hell I'm talking about. As a defensive back, if you see the ball, you likely can catch it. It's really that simple. So one of his coaches wanted to teach bump and run. And I was like, well, bump and run is basically to throw off timing and to get closer to your guy. Well, we don't have any Tom Brady's in the eighth grade or Peyton Manning's. So there's no reason to be close to your guy or disrupt timing because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All I want you to do is see the ball. So he goes out, he has 8 interceptions, you know, and that's only the result. We're looking for results, right?
right.
Positive results. Sometimes people make football so complicated. And I'm like, you don't teach new techniques in the middle of the season. You teach it in the off season. So but fortunate enough for me, I had a coach that was listening, and I didn't go to him. He came to me. And of course, I had already told my son, I'm like, you're not bumping running. Like, this, it's not happening. I'll teach
In
you.
the eighth grade.
We're learning now. Like, I'm teaching him now because at some point in high school, he's going to have to learn it. But even in high school, like, it's few and far between the opportunities where you should be up in front of a guy with your back to the ball. Like, we're trying to make plays. We're trying to get the ball back. That's the mission. Get the ball back so we can score. Period. You can't score without the ball, right? So it's a points game. And at the end of the game, what's the only thing that matters? Points.
Score more than the other team.
That's it. So I think when you dumb it down like that, then people start realizing, okay, let's not make this game more complicated than it already is.
Especially at the lower levels.
Oh God. I
I
mean,
mean,
you have no idea.
you're not trying to trick Peyton Manning, right? Like you don't. That's
Look,
not at that
there
level.
is there's no reason to disguise anything. There's no reason to do anything. It's more get in position and keep it simple. Keep it simple. Let your athletes be athletes. And a lot of times the players will make the coach look good. And I think coaches need to focus on that more than anything.
Speaking of bump and run, I remember seeing like a short on YouTube of like Steve Smith talking about you playing against him and like just destroying him and bump and run.
Yeah, he hated me. But one of my favorite people because he played with so much passion, but he was a dog on the field. I mean, tough to deal with. But that's the pros. You're dealing with the best of the
Oh
best. You
yeah,
will get beat, right? You will get beat. You better be close to your guy. You better sometimes see the ball come out to make plays. So, that's when, you're not going to see anything better than what you see in the NFL. And
no,
that's where you have to
no.
really dialed in, have multiple ways to defend the guy and control what you can control. I mean, those things never die. Controlling what you can control, working hard, and accountability. That's it.
Man, you hit the nail on the head. Like I don't even have to. We don't even got to go anywhere. I mean, that's just it's something that we try to preach to our guys. And
Yeah.
when did you learn that? Like what? Not learn that, but like when? At what point in Champ Bailey's life did you get this? Where? How do I want to word it? Like, did you have the epiphany that was like, you know what? I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm not gonna worry about the bad coaching. I'm just gonna go out and do me. And like, was it college, high school? Was it your third year with the Broncos? Like,
Honestly, I don't know. There was not an epiphany. I think it was just part of my personality. And, I think, I just think as a football player, you're focused on doing your job. Like, do your job, do it the most effective way. And, I'm a big, uh, I love the idea of leading by example. You know, how I work, how I study, the time I put in to try to be great at what I do. And I think when you're a good player and you do that, it rubs off on people. Good example, Tyreek Hill goes to the Dolphins. Probably the best thing that happened to Jalen Waddle. Why? Because now he can learn how to work. Like there's not a harder worker than Tyreek Hill in the league. Like he goes hard in practice. And I was always like that because I never let that competitive spirit die in practice. Like people think it's all about the game, but you really get good in practice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, football players spend more time practicing than any other sport and play a lot less games. So think about how backwards that is. Like you look at basketball, you play 30, 40 games in high school, and then but
You,
you're only practicing once or twice a
I
week,
mean,
right?
it's like
So
a couple weeks before the season, and then once the season starts, it's like, oh, we got a light day
that's
today
over.
because we
Same
got.
with baseball, right?
Yep.
Same with baseball. So, since it's so structured and structured like that, I spent more time practicing and just learning how to be great at what I was doing. And then hopefully that rubbed off on people. Now, only time I worry about what other guys are doing is usually when I would say I was always like that, just take care of my business. It was when I got to the league and I played a lot longer that I became more vocal about what other guys were doing. Well, because I had knowledge that they were trying to get, and I wanted to give it to them. So I do believe as you get older, there's several reasons you lose a step. One, you're focusing on way more things than when you're a rookie. Two, you don't practice as much. And I can't emphasize how much practice means. And then you lose a step because you're getting old. So when all those things happen at once, that's why you see guys just fall off a cliff. It just it just happens, especially at skill positions, because they can't do what they used to do. There's a lot of noise around them because they have a lot of young players that don't know what the hell they're doing. So you're trying to help them. So you're trying to take your mind off what you're supposed to be doing. So they just and
It's
then the only reason you overcome that is to try to go back to what you know. Okay, let me take care of my stuff. But then you want to be a great leader, so you got to be more vocal. So it's dude, it's hard to play a long time, especially football, because there's so many things that can
bro. I
pull
mean,
you.
I couldn't play past eighth grade. There was no. I mean, I thought I could be a fullback, and then I realized I was slower than all the fullbacks, and then they put me in a guard, and I realized I was smaller, shorter, and weaker than all the guards. It's like, where am I going to play?
So you probably would have fit right in on my offensive line in high school because
Oh my.
every guy we had was under 200 pounds.
Yeah, but listen, my guy would have beat me, and you would have put some nasty move on him, and then you would have been on another highlight. I was the reason why your highlight tapes were so good because you had guys chasing you left and right as soon as you got the ball. You know what I mean? You're welcome.
Doggone right. Sometimes I felt like they were wasting talent putting guys at defensive tackle because we would just run outside. we just we just run right outside and
Like go right past him. Like good
catch us
night.
if you can. Catch us if you can.
Who's your top five corners ever?
Top five?
Yeah.
That's tough. That's tough.
No, come
Okay.
on, come on, come on. You've thought about this. If someone's asked you this question, this is
Yeah,
this is
plenty of
low hanging
times.
fruit.
And all right, I'll go in this order. Top five
You can go
corners.
top three if you want.
I'm gonna say just pure corners. I'll put Darrell Revis at five. Um,
He gonna
ooh,
stick you out on Revis Island for that one.
yeah. Well, I'm taking myself out of this. I mean, I think I'm a top three corner at worst, but but I'm gonna take myself out of it. I'm gonna go at Mel Blunt because I'm gonna tell you why. I didn't watch him play. I obviously saw some highlights of him and some tape and a lot of things over the years. But what I liked about when I first met him, he's a Georgia guy, or South Georgia guy, and I saw how tall he was. I was like, yeah, I don't know how you moved around with that body,
Right.
especially back in the day. How did you move around with that? He was so effective. So I put him there. Number three, let me think. Darryl Green. Yeah, he could be interchangeable 2 or 3. I'm gonna say number 2. Oh man, probably I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Rod Woodson number 3, and I'm gonna go Darrell Green number 2, and Dion's number 1
Yeah.
because as a pure corner, he was a standard as far as how to cover and athleticism.
I feel like you and Dion are opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of like personality and flash and
Hmm.
like he's a very I mean this is not a like showboaty, but not in a I mean his name is Prime Time, you know what I mean? Like and
Yeah,
you're just like the guy standing in the corner waiting for the coach to come ask him your thoughts and then he asks you and you're like, "Well, you got to do this, and this different. And why would we run out? Why would we run straight up to the 300-pound tackle when we could just run outside and run around him?"
yeah, yeah. Very
Interesting.
simple. A lot of times the answer is so simple. I am proud of Dion and what he's done up to this point, coaching, because
You ever
coaching is a lifestyle.
you ever want to coach?
I don't want to, but I would never say I won't. It's not something I aspire to do. It's just, I know a lot about the game, so I can't say that an opportunity fall in my lap and I wouldn't entertain it.
I mean,
You know,
coach at a like a professional level. Like
Whew.
Antonio Pierce calls you up and says, "Hey, you want to be DB's coach of the Raiders?"
That's a former teammate too. So,
I do my research, baby.
yeah. So I don't know. I would entertain it for sure. But it just those things really don't happen like that as far as a full time coach. So I don't expect it, but if it did, yeah, of course I'd entertain it because you're talking about the highest level of the game
Yeah.
and be able to go out there and coach some pros, and you got to consider it.
Does Ben Watson still give you shit for chasing you down?
I give him shit. I give him shit. But you know,
Did you
uh,
fumble that ball to the end zone?
uh, at the time I thought I did. I think I didn't want to get too excited. I was tired for one. So by
Well,
the time they lifted me off the ground and took me to the bench, I'm looking up at the replay. I'm like, dang, you can't really tell, but I just know I let it go. And I give Nick Ferguson more hell about this play than Ben Watson does to me because Nick Ferguson's the one that could have at least flinched at it and
got his way a
made
little
me
bit.
hesitate for a second. All I needed was a little hesitation from Ben Watson. You watch the tape, he didn't slow down one step from the moment he took off. And
I mean, it's not. He was a tight end, but it's not like he was slow.
no, he's not slow. And I was obviously running slower at the end.
Well, yeah. I mean,
And
you.
if you look back at that drive, it had to be about a 10-play drive.
Mm-hmm.
So I was dead. I was dead tired. But, you know, and it's funny, like that play happened only because we made some adjustments on the sideline. Me and the nickelback, we made some adjustments to pass off those routes. That wasn't even my guy. But based off the routes they were killing us on throughout the game,
Did you tell the
we
coach you were?
passed.
You tell the coach you were
Oh no,
making?
well, no.
It was just like
And,
flow of the
oh
game.
yeah. No, our coach empowers us. I mean, this is the best coaches do this.
Yeah.
If you don't take ownership of what you're doing on the field, I mean, you're always going to be looking to the coach for answers. Coach don't have all the answers,
No.
and he's not out there getting embarrassed. So we have to figure it out. I mean, we took ownership and we figured it out. Then the coach would go to the locker room and say, "Yeah, we made that adjustment when we know it was us." But we all take credit because we're a team. That's just how it works.
Did you say you were in the Capitol today, like Washington D.C. Capitol?
No. Georgia Capital. Sorry, State Capital.
I mean,
I was in.
it was
Yeah,
believable because I mean, you did play up there
right,
for a
right.
couple years, so I was like, damn, like he's in the Capitol. I was gonna tell you like we could have moved it around, like
Now,
but I appreciate you taking.
I was supposed to be out about 10:45, but of course, everything went over.
Yeah, people like hearing you talk, bro. You know?
And the funny thing is, I never got to the point where I had to talk because it went over. So
You didn't even
I
get to
just did
talk?
what I had to do.
Man.
Yeah, I did what I had to do. I took pictures and let everybody know I was there. I was supporting the foundation
There you go.
that one of the companies I work with supports. So
You ever play with yourself in Madden?
I have in the past. It's been at least 15, 20 years since I've done that. But yeah, I definitely used to. But to be honest, that's what I get from people more than anything is, man, you were hell on Madden. I used to play with you all the time on Madden. That's what I get more than anything.
Yeah, bro. You talk about putting your best athletes on the field and you want them touching the ball. Like you played receiver when I played, you were cornerback, punt returner, and kick returner. Like we were not getting. I mean, Madden is virtual players. Like we were not getting tired and getting chased down by Ben Watson on our interception returns, bro.
That is a fact. And you know what's funny is people always say when you see coaches make mistakes in situations where like the Miami game, Georgia Tech.
Oh
Like
man, yeah, we
this is what
could
people do now. They say, well, if he played Madden, he would know exactly what to do in that situation. You just
with the
take a knee.
with the clock though. I, I almost
Dude,
agree. Like the just handling of the clock. I kind of agree because when I play Madden, you know when to use the timeouts.
dude, let me tell you
I might be
that
wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong.
that is the most important part of the game. Is situations. That's what separates the good teams from the bad teams,
But
or
how do
just average.
coaches get it wrong so much though?
Heat of the moment. You can practice all day, but when you're in those moments and it's crunch time, not everybody's Michael Jordan, right? Like you just don't hit that shot or make the right call because you get the pressure and you just can't predict those things. And I almost saw it happen again. What was the game? Washington versus Texas.
Yeah, but no coach
And
on the sideline is like,
the
hey, we just have to
no,
nail it. Coach, just nail it. Just nail it, bro.
you know, fortunate enough for me, I've had some assistants that had done that in the past, but they were empowered to do that. And there might have been somebody saying something,
But college coach is
but
a
in
little different. They
reality,
might not be.
the coach has 40 seconds to make a decision, right? And going back to this Washington Texas game, the reason Texas had a chance at the end is because they kept running the ball. Like, okay, what difference does it make if you run the ball or take a knee? Well, here's the difference. You risk fumbling, a la Miami against Georgia Tech. You risk somebody getting hurt and stopping the clock. And that's exactly what happened. So they would have got the ball back with like 15 seconds if they just took a knee. Just why? And so the running back got hurt. So now you jeopardize him going to the next game and playing
Right.
one of your star players. And also you give the ball back to a team that can obviously. But it's like, man, it's just sometimes it's common sense, but you know, they're in that moment, and who knows what chatter they got going on the sideline, what's happened throughout the game that's got them stressed more than normal, or they just incompetent.
Incompetent.
But that same guy's in Alabama, so somehow he got a promotion.
I mean, that's funny. I'm not one to sit on the sideline and like be like, "Why are we running cover 2 today? We should be running cover 3." Like,
No.
but when it comes to like mathematical clock stuff and all that, it always blew my mind.
Yeah, those type of things to me are universal. Like, there's a situation here. More than likely, you should do what the other 100 teams are doing.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But when it comes to coverage, yeah, you do the coverage that works for your team, and you should know what works. So,
who you got in the Super Bowl? I have to ask. It's
am
Super
not,
Bowl week, you know.
I am not betting against Patrick Mahomes. No way. Although I got some
he's a
deep
bad man,
connections
bro.
on the 40. Yeah, I got deep connections on the 49ers, and you know,
Who you got?
I'm pulling for them, but I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes.
You think he's a great? You think when it's all said and done, he'll be the greatest?
He should be. because a lot of times the most talented quarterback don't win as much as he has.
Aaron Rodgers.
You think of a Dan Marino, yeah, Aaron Rodgers, like as good as they were and talented, they didn't win a lot of Super Bowls. I think how many Rodgers got one?
We just won.
Yeah.
He's
Marino got none.
he's the most pure thrower of the football I've ever seen. Aaron Rodgers, like
Yes.
watching him throw is like magical. Like it's so easy, but
Yeah, yeah, and he doesn't do anything textbook, right?
no,
I
no.
always tell people, man, there's really no book on how to play any position. Like some things are universal, but when you're good, you got to learn how to use what you have.
Well, like you said, let your athletes athlete.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you just let
Exactly.
Aaron just go be Aaron. Just
Yeah, because I mean, when I've taught any corner like how to press or play off or anything, there's some point in that training where it's like, okay, I got you this far, you got the rest on your own. Like when you get to the top of the route, I can't make the play for you. I can
it's
tell you what you
it's instinct.
probably. Yeah, it's all instinct. It's all playmaking ability. Like there's not two athletes the same. Like everybody's different.
I mean, yeah. Look at Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Like
Yeah,
I don't think you could
yeah,
be any more different in a lot of.
exactly.
I mean, their work ethic and all that. Like it's top tier, but like in terms of like just as a player and what they did,
Yeah,
man,
yeah. There's no doubt.
is Peyton as cheesy in real life as he is on all the commercials? And is he just a big old dad? Like
He's a prankster, but he's serious at the same time. Like he's serious. I mean, he
when it comes
he
to
works
football,
his yeah he works his butt off,
but like
but
off the
he's
field,
not stiff. He's a guy you can have a drink with and joke with and reminisce. The funny thing about him is he loves football. Like I mean, and the reason I know that is because we often talk about guys that I played with that never scratched the surface of getting in the league. Like he remembers these guys, like because he played against them and he studied them. He just one of those guys. I mean, I'm surprised he doesn't. Well, I'm not surprised because I know who he is, but a part of me is a little shocked that he's not in somebody's front office doing something or some consultant role.
right?
But but based off what I know about him, that just doesn't fit into the way he wants to work. He
Is it
doesn't want to
because like
see.
he doesn't want to consult, like he wants to be the one making the decisions?
Yeah, I think ultimately he wants to be in control of his movements.
Right.
He wants to. That's why he starts his production company where he can still be involved with the game, do some funny stuff with his brother, and make a living that way. It looks like he's having a lot of fun. He's definitely controlling the situation.
I mean, Eli said something the other day about Peyton's forehead, dude. I just heard it in the background. I almost spit my drink up, bro. Like I was laughing so hard. Like
Yeah, it's funny. Like they really go at each other like that, but at the same time, they're on the same page about what they're doing
oh
and
yeah,
what the mission is. So
yeah.
it works. Again, like these dudes can do whatever they want, but this is we get the joy of actually seeing them more now in front of the camera than we saw when they played. So
I mean, you probably could do whatever. You probably could call up how many teams and say you want a coaching role,
yeah,
a DB's coach, and they shit, Champ Bailey, like firing the DB's
I
guy.
I agree. And people reach out to me all the time on social media about coaching. Like call Kirby, tell him to hire you. Oh, the Broncos need you. Like for what? No, that's not what I want to do. And trust me, they're not calling me to come coach or do anything
Yeah, but then
because
you'd miss out on you know watching your boys grow up and getting to you know
yeah, because that's a lifestyle. I mean, coaching is it's really a lifestyle, and I just got out of that thing. I played football from 8 to 35.
yep.
I don't know if I don't see myself doing that again.
Did you know when it was time to hang it up? Was there like a moment when it was like, all right, champ ain't champ anymore?
Well, I knew that before 3 or 4 years before I retired. I knew I had to make some adjustments, but again, you know, the writing was on the wall. It's coming. It
Yeah,
wasn't until I got released by the Saints, and then I went to a few workouts. I'm like, oh no, like I forget how hard it is to stay in shape,
yeah.
and now it's 3 times as harder because I can't go as hard as I used to. My knees are killing me.
Can't practice as much.
I can't prepare like I used to.
I
So
mean, and at
yeah,
some point, it's like, why am I still
yeah.
doing it? I've had like go out on top.
I don't even the idea of going out on top. That sounds good, but what does that even mean? You know, it- well, in the sports world, it means go win a Super Bowl and have one of
It's
your best years of your life, right?
it's really a bad phrase. Like, I guess it should be like go out before rock bottom.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
before you're getting cooked by like I don't know,
Yeah.
Kadarius Tony.
Okay, it's almost like okay, play as long as you can. And I see some guys kind of going through that right now. Bradley Roby, I got my eye on him. For one, I've seen him since his rookie year because he came in right after me in Denver. So I've been watching him, and now he's in double-digit years. I'm like, okay, let's see how long, because he hasn't been a starter for the past 4 or 5 years. So I'm like, okay, let's see how long he can keep weathering the storm and getting prepared for a season, playing a lot of snaps. That it becomes harder and harder because he's essentially a free agent. So he didn't have the longevity at one place like I did, you know. So that kind of saved me because it's almost like trying to get rid of Brady and Manning. Like it's the same kind of feel. Like the guy's been here 10 years, but we know we got to get rid of him before it's too late. Same with, I mean,
Right.
you would never imagine Brady playing somewhere else or Peyton
Yeah, but
when the prime of their career, but it happens.
um I was gonna ask you something else, but I don't even remember what it was. Shit. I mean, I don't know. Brady or Manning, who you taking in a one game? One
One
game,
game,
one game, gotta have it. Peak of their
woo,
powers.
one game, gotta have it. I'm going Brady,
Yeah.
and Peyton's my guy.
Peyton
But I'm going Brady
Peyton always had
just
way
based
better
off the
receivers than Brady.
Brady he was clutch, man. 7 rings, man. You can't dispute that.
No.
You can't.
So are you? Then you must be
And
you must be a Jordan over LeBron guy.
wait, say that one more time.
I said, are you Jordan over LeBron?
Uh, uh I think from pure competitive nature, athlete, yes. But human with the athlete entangled into that and everything outside, like as a person, LeBron all day. And I think LeBron really changed what it means to be a pro player.
Yeah.
And he really helped players, which I think is beneficial. And it kind of hurts the game in some ways sometimes, but I think it's beneficial to the players because now they understand their leverage.
Yep.
And, it's almost like you wish you could have that same thing happen in college, at the college level, where the players understand their leverage. And things will get changed fast when players understand their leverage.
I mean,
That's
there's
why,
starting
yeah,
to a bit.
yeah. Well,
It's only a small piece of the pie, though,
yeah, it's
brother.
a small piece. And you got to think by the time a guy has any influence to do anything, let's just say Caleb Williams. If he had a great year this year and then he wanted to come back, and really make some noise, he could probably gather a few guys and form a unions, right? He probably could. He
Mm-hmm.
won back-to-back Heisman and plan to come back again. But they don't have enough time because what are they thinking about? Getting to the next level.
And once you're at the next
So,
level, you gotta do everything you can to stay there and be good, and you can't really. You got to be a different like level human to say I'm gonna go back and change something that you've already left.
yeah, yeah. Well, I think the only way college really changes is if the powers that be wanted to change, and that's either the NCAA executive level or the top coaches in the league, like the Kirby Smarts, the Nick Sabans, the Harbaughs. But now we just lost two of those because they don't like the nature of college football. It's like, okay, well, you obviously can help change it. You have so much influence.
Right.
I mean, you do everything you can to get these kids to come to the school. You complain that they're not getting paid properly, but you do nothing about it. It's like, you know, just go coach the Chargers now. So it's all a bunch of noise, and then there's more complaints. But you can see us inching towards it. But if this was a pro league, it would be no question.
I mean, there should be the NCAA is just dumb. Like there should be just a.
I don't think they're dumb. I think they're the opposite. I think they're unfair.
That's what I mean. Like they're not stupid.
Yeah,
They know exactly what they're doing, and they know exactly why they don't want like NIL and like players making money. But it's like just greed, and
yeah,
I think
and
at some point they're gonna do away with like Ohio State's, Georgia's, Alabama's are gonna say we don't need the NCAA. We're gonna go off and do our own thing.
I think they're already doing that. And see, that's what I was going to say. We can't ignore the SEC, the Big Ten. They're the ones that control college football.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones negotiating these big TV deals, right? NCAA cares about basketball, March Madness, more than anything, right? So again, the powers that be are the commissioner for the SEC and Big Ten and all these other big conferences, and then the head coaches in all these schools. Now, they've been able to thrive just because they've labeled this amateur sports. And the unique thing about college that the pros don't have is donors. So they've been able to weather the storm because they have outside money coming in. But what about that TV deal? Let's talk about that. And if you can't get these guys to unionize and get together, get on the same page and negotiate that contract, they're still going to be paying these guys with donors. And that's not a sustainable business model. So you're right. They need to get ahead of it. If they really want to be smart, they should get ahead of it. But that means somebody's got to sacrifice something. There's going to be some sacrifice there.
I mean, it sounds like a great job for Champ.
Oh, shoot. They don't want me there because I'll be too fair. You got to think how old these establishments are. They don't really want change.
No, man. They got their
Right?
country club memberships. Then I mean, they want to get
No.
around and complain about the new young generation and how we are doing it differently and wrong. And can you believe this? And
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, the idea of taking advantage of athletes has always been around. It's been around forever. Once this thing started generating money, I mean, the athletes always fall short because in order to be good, you don't really have time to pay attention to the business. You're just an operator. I'm out here trying to just be good at what I'm doing and hope y'all take care of business when in reality, you're part of the business.
It's
A big part of it.
it sucks.
Right?
Like you see, or like you hire an agent or a business manager to like manage everything else, so you could just go worry about training and all that, and then you see guys like getting ripped off by their
Yeah.
agents, and
You expect them to be fair and look out for your best interests.
you expect the best out of humans.
That way. Yeah, it should be that way anywhere you go. Any organization you work for or involved in, like everything should be fair for everybody. And when it's not, it should be called out. And I think that's the thing that's hard is we got people at the top that don't want to see fairness. They just want the power. They want all the money.
Well, and people are scared to like rock the boat, you know, because they don't want to be let
That's
out of
the
the country club.
sacrifice. Yeah, that's a sacrifice that has to happen, and that doesn't happen, then it's going to be a slow change. We'll get there, but it's either going to be 5 years or 50.
Shit. Uh,
Yeah, right.
I mean that's pretty much what I got today, man. I just wanted to.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pulling up on my meeting now.
Yeah,
Go to my 5 minutes
I
away.
appreciate you coming on, and I thought, you know, after talking to you a little bit last summer and everything that people say about you and how you are as a parent, I kind of just wonder, even though this is a baseball podcast, when Josh said, "Would you want to have Champ on?" and I was like, "What kind of dumbass question is that?" Of course, like
Yeah,
he's,
well,
you know,
that's the closest I get to baseball is my son's playing. So,
I mean,
so
we'll see Beckham out at kids camp this year again.
yeah, you will. I mean, he'll be out there. He's just scratching the surface. So, yeah, he think he's as good as his brother. So we'll see.
So, but I appreciate you coming on, dude, and you know, have fun at your meetings, and hopefully, you know, maybe you get to talk a little bit in this one.
All right, yeah, I think I'll do a lot of talking in this one. It's more intimate anyway.
You got,
So I appreciate it, man. This was good.
yep. Take care, man. Have a good day.
All right, you too, brother.